Jamie is a first grader whose loving parents emphasize being nice. Be nice to your brother, be nice to the kids at school, and they say, be nice to people who are different from you. Be color blind. When Jamie sees a classmate picked on because she's a different skin color, she tells her parents about it and they are shocked and they reemphasize, be colorblind, not like those people. Jamie nods, but she doesn't know what to do to help her classmate. Lauren is a first grader, and her father, who is Ghanaian, tells her to be as American as possible, to deny her heritage, to be like everyone else, to be colorblind. She's a beautiful but isolated island of brown in a sea of white. Each morning, she raises her hand to go to the bathroom and runs her hands into the sink for 5 minutes, hoping to wash the black off. Justin and Tony are first graders. Justin is Taiwanese and Tony is Mexican, both American, both surrounded by white and black children in a school that preaches colorblindness. Both get teased in hallways and playgrounds because they look different from the other kids. To their parents' surprise and heartache, they say, I wish I weren't Taiwanese, or I wish I weren't Mexican. And they ask for normal food for lunch instead of the homemade noodles or quesadillas their mothers lovingly pack with care. Jamie grows up and goes to college. She meets Lauren and they become friends. One day, Lauren gets the N-word scrawled into the hood of her car. In an effort to comfort her, Jamie tells Lauren, when I see you, I don't see your color. And Lauren responds to this friend whom she loves. If you don't see my color, you might as well not see me at all. Jamie meant to say, I'm not like those people who think your skin color is a reason to demean you. I see you as an equal. But instead, Lauren heard, I don't see you. I don't see the beautiful parts of who you are, and I don't see your pain. Colorblindness, though well-intentioned, has several problems. One, it tries to address ethnic and racial division by saying, if you don't see the problem, it will cease to exist. It might go away. But even if one tries to be colorblind, our everyday news shows us that our world, its problems, its patterns, and its systems are not colorblind. Two, since colorblindness doesn't help us see, it then doesn't help us address those problems. It doesn't help Jamie stick up for her friends, because if she can't see color, she can't name what is wrong. Three, it doesn't teach our children to appreciate our differences. Sure, it's better than overt racism, but instead of helping us pursue equality, it makes us believe in uniformity, the idea that our experiences are the same. When Jamie, Lauren, Justin, and Tony are all different. It doesn't help Lauren see her brown skin as beautiful, when the classmates, teachers, and images around her are all white faces only. And it doesn't help Justin and Tony feel comfortable in their stories and skin. Four, colorblindness attempts to replace the powerful forces of cruelty and bigotry with niceness. Now, some of you from a part of the country were saying, she's nice is code for she is not nice at all. Yeah? And in most places, though, niceness is relatively positive. He's a nice boy, she's a nice girl. At the very least, it's the absence of evil. But we can often confuse niceness and kindness. Niceness as a word does not show up in Scripture, but kindness does. You can be nice and polite without being a Christian. In fact, Jesus wasn't nice. He called the Pharisees a brood of vipers, and he used a whip to drive out money changers from the temple. The cross does not display the niceness of Jesus. Instead, it displays his courage and God's kindness towards us. Teaching a kid to be nice does not teach them to stand up to the bully. 2/3 of the pews of the German church were filled with nice Christians who were silent during the Holocaust. 90% or more of the nice Christians in America were silent or immobile during the Civil Rights Movement. Niceness is not what motivates us to ask a black or brown friend how they are really doing as they watch children who look like them, young or grown, torn from their mother's embrace. Colorblind niceness is often a way to stay within the lines of what is polite. But that often maintains the status quo, and if that status quo is broken, and if it's a broken world that our children are entering into, then what are we teaching them? It's easier to be nice and polite about the wrong things than to be courageous and kind about the right things. Melody Hobson says in her TED Talk to be color brave instead of color blind. Bravery, or courage, it takes intentionality. If we want to love our neighbors as ourselves, it means getting to know them, their stories, their beauty, and their pain. It means sacrificing our comfort, our time, our safety to help someone, just like the Good Samaritan, just like the freedom riders and the abolitionists of our country's past. Niceness is not going to help Jamie stand up to the bully that's torturing her friend. Niceness is not going to help Lauren navigate a world where she often feels isolated because of her color. Niceness is not going to help Tony or Justin value who they are. They need friends who are willing to step out of their comfort zones and lines and say, I will love you at cost to myself, just like Jesus did, because Christian kindness involves sacrifice. What we need is courage, kindness, and intentionality to love people who don't look like us. Intentionality is different from good intentions, because good intentions assume and then later say, ooh, that's not what I meant. Intentionality takes a learning posture. It takes time to hear a story, to love the other, to sacrifice, and to change. Colorblindness does not help us love the other, because you have to know someone in order to love them, right? And then you have to see someone in order to know them. If we can't see the distinct and beautiful parts of our cultures, nor see the painful encounters and injustices that different people groups face, this prevents us from being better neighbors and friends in a world that could use more courage and kindness. Jesus wasn't colorblind. He did not have that option or luxury because his people had been in conflict with their neighbors for over 600 years. He was quite intentional and bold, going to Samaria and greeting that Samaritan woman who asked him, why are you talking to me, a Samaritan? Right? And instead of trying to be colorblind, he responded, talking about their differences and about the hope that he was bringing, where one day Jew and Samaritan would be able to worship together, united, diverse, but not uniform. To move beyond colorblindness, we need to become ethnicity aware of our ethnic heritages and stories, the beauty in them, as well as the pain, and to teach our children the same. For how can you teach your child to value in another that which they do not even value in themselves? You are either teaching condescension towards other people who need our help, or telling them to act a certain way without explaining why. Many of you in this room that identify as white, if you teach your child about other cultures only, and when your child asks about yours and you respond, well, we're American, we're just American, you're teaching them that you don't have a culture or heritage to value, and also that they are American while others are not. You have an ethnic heritage created for good by God, whether it's English, Irish, Italian, Swedish, German, and a whole mix of those. The recent surge of interest in Ancestry.com and 23andMe shows that longing to rediscover the good that God has placed in us. Many of you, where your child is in the ethnic minority, your child, who wants so much to fit in, will wrestle with being different. Can you teach them to be proud of who they are? Right? That God made them well, so that they can detect the lie and reject it, right? Before it even has a chance to take root. Right? Can we teach our children and ourselves to see each other beyond good intentioned niceness into really seeing and loving our neighbor? Whether you've thought of yourself as just white, or not sure where your adoptive roots are, or you've learned to downplay your ethnic heritage and blend in, or you're wrestling with what it means to have your skin and story, we need to practice both listening to the ethnic stories and experiences of others, and also inviting Jesus into our own ethnic journeys. Each of us has an ethnic background, made for glorious good, and each affected by sin, injustice, and pain. Listening to our own stories and reflecting on our own stories and listening to the stories of others, it opens us up to places of appreciation, confession, and empathy. It helps us reflect on both our commonalities and differences, whether it's connecting our ancestors passing through Ellis Island with those seeking safer shores today, or spending time intentionally learning about the Native heritage in your story, or realizing how differently you grew up from your neighbor, or perhaps finding a kindred spirit in unexpected places. These points of learning help us become better neighbors and friends, people who see each other, the beauty and pain that's in our lives, who love and honor each other past stereotypes and tropes. Speaking up about injustice, not because we are woke or enlightened, because you can be woke or enlightened without sacrificing anything, but because the person who has been hurting, that person is our friend and neighbor. I'm a new mom to a 2-month-old daughter, and it is, yeah, she's cute. She's cute. Real cute. She's not cute right now with her daddy because she misses her mommy. Okay, and it is far more tempting to tell her to be nice and to stay safely away from these conversations than to teach her to be kind and brave because I'm afraid of what it's going to cost her. But if I raise my daughter to be content with safety and comfort for herself alone, then she will live in a world that is more self-centered and unkind than the one she entered into. Let us be colorblind no more. Let us see our neighbor, right? And teach our children to see their neighbors. Imagine Jamie, who sees her friend being picked on, and she stands next to her friend and tells the bullies, "Go away. My friend, she is beautiful, and you need to stop being mean to her." Right? Imagine Lauren experiencing that kind of solidarity and friendship as she navigates a world, and she hears, not just from her parents, but from her friends, that who she is, all of who she is good and beautiful. Right? Imagine Tony and Justin, who proudly share their stories and their food with classmates who genuinely want to get to know them. And imagine a future where our children and we ourselves have moved beyond colorblindness, and we're helping to renew our world into a place where we really see, and we really know, and thus we really love our neighbors. Thank you.